Lena, we need your room. The words landed sharp and cold, slicing through the quiet morning like a blade. My stepfather stood in the doorway of the Vermont farmhouse, eyes flat, voice stripped of warmth, like I was an unwelcome guest who'd overstayed her time. I didn't look up right away. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, mid-keystroke, where I'd been running biotech diagnostics since dawn. Come again? Ma's moving back, fresh out of Stanford Med, he said, already impatient. She needs the space for her residency work. Your room has the best light and square footage for her equipment. His eyes flicked over my workspace like it was clutter, just a stack of trash, not the neural mapping software I'd spent 3 years building. You'll be fine in the attic. We cleared it out this morning. I was 27. I worked full-time for a neuroscience lab and was beta testing a cognitive analytics platform I'd engineered myself. This house, my late grandmother's, had once felt like legacy. Now it was a shrine to my sister Maya's accolades. I blinked once. Then, the attic doesn't even have heat. Maybe that'll light a fire under you. My mother cut in from the kitchen. You've treated that little side project like it's a real career. You should be more like Maya. There it was. Maya, the golden child. Stanford MD. Always the name on everyone's lips. Still neck-deep in student loans and half-finished research, but elevated like she'd cured cancer. I have a career, I said. But no one listened. You're tinkering, my mother replied. Maya's doing something that matters. I looked around my room, whiteboards lined with years of research, algorithms, diagnostic simulations. To them, it was all scribbles. To me, it was the future. I closed my laptop. Fine, I said, calm, measured. Not because I was defeated, but because I was ready. I'd been building something too big for this house to hold. 3 years of condescension, 3 years of being invisible at the dinner table while Maya's every move got a standing ovation. You've got until noon, my stepfather said. Noon, how poetic. Because at exactly 12 p.m., tomorrow, Neurophythom, my biotech startup, would go live. That night, as I packed the last of my hardware into boxes, my phone lit up. Eli, CTO, all systems green. Neurophythom launch confirmed for noon. I smiled. For 3 brutal, unglamorous years, I had been building a machine learning engine capable of mapping early neural degeneration, before symptoms ever showed. The research assistant title? A cover. Neurophythom had been quietly developing under a parent firm in Boston, legally shielded, fully funded, investor-ready. And it was about to change the entire diagnostics landscape. While they toasted Maya's unpaid rotations, I negotiated contracts, built prototypes, hired engineers, and filed patents. Then came another message from Eli. Eli, Phase 1 complete. Neurophythom now holds majority stake in HelixCare. I froze. HelixCare, the diagnostic chain that managed all my family's medical coverage and funded Maya's research fellowships abroad. By tomorrow, the very system that ignored me would report to me. Upstairs, Maya's voice floated down. Mom, should we do spa blue or soft neutrals for Lena's old room? I chuckled. Let them paint. They'd redecorated me out of the narrative, but they couldn't stop what was coming. I thought of my Johns Hopkins graduation, the one they missed for Maya's charity gala, the prototype I built with 3 maxed-out credit cards, the nights I coded until my vision blurred. Lena, my mother called, don't forget to leave your key, you won't be coming back. I placed it on the desk. No words. She was right, I wasn't coming back. As I loaded the last box into my hatchback, no glossy SUV like Maya's, I heard laughter from the kitchen. Finally, my mother said, that room deserves someone important. I climbed into the driver's seat, opened my laptop, and typed one line. Initiate Beatrice Proton Authorization, Neurophythom Core, Protocol Phoenix activated. Execution in 8 hours. The confirmation pinged. Cold, precise, inevitable. I shut the laptop, started the engine. Outside, Vermont snow dusted the fields, quiet and clean. I turned onto the road toward Burlington, toward my real home, the penthouse overlooking Lake Champlain, top floor of Rivermeyer Residences. Bought in cash. Tomorrow, the world would know my name. And my family? They wouldn't just see my success. They'd feel it, in every echoing silence where their praise should have been. The valet nodded. The concierge greeted me by name. The elevator rose without a stop. Up here, I wasn't the afterthought. I was Dr. Lena Carroll, founder of Neurophythom Labs. My office glowed with backlit monitors, pulsing with live neuroanalytics from 5 continents. In the center, a window blinked softly. Helix Care Systems Sync, 94%. Launch was imminent. But this was no longer just about pioneering neuroscience. Clairvoyant Protocol, our flagship AI, could not only detect the earliest signs of cognitive decline, but also trace patterns of clinical fraud, phantom billing, and falsified trial data. Quietly, systematically, it was dismantling the very infrastructure that had propped up Carroll Medical Group for decades. The same group my mother used to reroute grant money into Maya's unregulated research initiatives, while reminding me to find my own way. A ping from the family group chat broke the silence. Dinner tomorrow at Birchstone to celebrate Maya's new publication. Lena, you're welcome if you've landed somewhere stable. Dress nice. Birchstone, their cathedral of achievement. Where they toasted Maya's Stanford acceptance while I bussed tables near the coat check, pocketing tips to buy my first EEG scanner. Tomorrow, they'd return to that same table. Only this time, their corporate cards would fail. Because the diagnostics network propping up their empire was mine now. I typed a single-line reply. I'll be there. Then opened an encrypted folder marked Project Recalibration, a forensic audit of every ledger line, misappropriated fund, and research manipulation across Carroll Medical Group's entire footprint, cross-referenced, time-stamped, and legally bound to Neurophythom's finalized acquisition contracts. Clara's voice chimed through the intercom. Dr. Carroll, the board is assembled. Thank you, I said, on my way. I paused at the mirror. No longer invisible. No longer asking permission. Tomorrow night, I wouldn't be an afterthought at their table. I'd be the one pulling the strings. They'd toast Maya's brilliance, unaware the foundation beneath their pride was now owned, audited, and redesigned by the daughter they dismissed. My phone buzzed, another secure message from Eli. Phoenix Protocol fully deployed. All systems outperforming forecasts. Ownership of Helix Care confirmed. Welcome to Phase 2. I slipped the phone into my clutch and stepped into the walnut-paneled lobby of Birchstone, the hallowed ground of every family celebration I'd been told I was too busy or too late for. Julian, the maitre d', looked up with immediate recognition. Your usual table, Dr. Carroll? I gave him a soft smile, then gestured toward the corner booth. Not tonight, Julian, I'm with them. I crossed the room. Maya was already mid-sentence, describing a research suite with lake views and a new assistant, like she'd just been handed Olympus. My mother looked up. Lena, you made it. We already started ordering, my stepfather added, eyes on the wine list. I had a few last-minute details to finalize, I said, settling into my old spot, once reserved for the sibling they could tolerate. Still calling it work? Maya asked, just a hint of mockery curling her voice. My stepfather looked up briefly, likely checking Carroll Medical's stock price under the table. Hope you're not freeloading. That name still carries weight. Funny, I said lightly. Did you hear about the board change at Helix Care? His posture shifted, spine straightening. What board change? Just then, the waiter returned with a silver tray and champagne flutes. My mother reached for her purse, already celebrating. This one's on me. She handed over her platinum card. Moments passed, then the waiter returned, his voice carefully neutral. Apologies, ma'am, this card has been declined. That's impossible, she snapped. Try again. We've tried 3 times, would you like to provide another? My stepfather, visibly annoyed, handed over his. The same result. Then Maya, sighing, reached for her Helix Care corporate card like a queen tolerating inconvenience. Ugh, I'll just take care of it. I leaned back in my seat, untouched champagne glinting under the lights. She didn't know. Not yet. But tonight, they'd raise their glasses in celebration. And by the end of the toast, they'd realize. They weren't honoring Maya. They were toasting me. If you're still watching, you're about to witness what power truly looks like. So hit subscribe and stay with me, for the moment they realize the daughter they sidelined now controls the system they once ruled. I set my glass down with deliberate precision. That won't work either, I said softly. All three of them turned, sharp and startled. What do you mean? My stepfather asked, his voice slow, cautious. The tone shift hadn't escaped him. I met his gaze directly. About Helix Care, there's been a change in leadership. As of midnight, all account activity is under new oversight. My mother's face drained of color. Lena, what are you talking about? Her voice was tight. Protocol Phoenix, I said calmly, leaning back in my chair. I watched the recognition flicker in my stepfather's eyes. A man who thrived on backdoor deals and shadow threats. He knew. He'd heard the rumors about the AI disrupting diagnostics, exposing fraud. He'd never imagined it would come for him. That's not possible, he muttered. Neurophytome, I confirmed. The same firm that just acquired Helix Care. Maya blinked. What does that have to do with our card system protocol? Irregular transactions, unregistered trusts, falsified clinical stipends. All accounts are temporarily frozen, pending audit. My stepfather's voice dropped to a whisper. How do you know this? I smiled, letting the tension build. Because I designed the system. A beat of silence. Because I built it. I am Neurophytome. The room stilled, the weight of the words settled, and even Maya's self-congratulation faltered. That's ridiculous, she scoffed. Eventually, you work for some freelance lab in Boston. I kept my voice cool, cutting through her dismissal. A convenient cover. Neurophytome operates through layered entities and quiet acquisitions. That lab? One node in a global network spanning diagnostics, AI, and clinical infrastructure. We employ over 3,200 people across 14 countries. And as of this morning, we control the systems backing your medical insurance, your grants, your payroll, your research portfolio. My mother's hand trembled as it clutched her napkin. But you're just what? I interrupted. Just the daughter you exiled to the attic. The one whose graduation you missed. The one who wasn't Maya? I slid a sleek matte trip card from my clutch and handed it to the waiter. The discreet Neurophytome core emblem gleamed at the corner. The champagne's on me. Actually, every meal this table's had here for the past 4 years is on me. I bought Birchstone in 2021. The waiter nodded. Of course, Dr. Carol. Carol? My stepfather's voice cracked with disbelief. You're that Lena Carol? I nodded, letting it sink in. The same Lena Carol whose algorithm you tried to patent under Helix Care last spring. You probably didn't notice. Too busy spotlighting Maya's residency awards to read the board memos. Maya's face went ashen. And yes, I added, your hospital's AI diagnostics upgrade? Powered by Neurophytome. You'll be using my tech, unless compliance freezes your program first. If you're still watching, you've seen the beginning of their unraveling. Subscribe now, because next, they learn what happens when the girl they ignored becomes the architect of their reckoning. I turned to Maya, my voice steady, unshaken. Protocol Phoenix flagged discrepancies in your trial reporting. By the way, if I were you, I'd rethink that director promotion. My mother leaned forward, her hands trembling, her voice pleading. Lena, sweetheart, can we talk about this? We're still family. I stood slowly, locking eyes with each of them, my stepfather's face red with rage, my mother pale with shame, Maya frozen in stunned disbelief. Family doesn't exile you to the attic because you don't fit their narrative. Family doesn't miss your thesis defense to toast someone else's internship. Family doesn't call your career a phase while funding lies. I grabbed my handbag, forest green alligator leather, understated, unmistakably high tier. It cost more than the Audi my stepfather loved to flaunt. Your accounts will remain frozen until the internal audit is complete, I said coolly. And based on what Protocol Phoenix has flagged so far, I'd expect a call from the Office of Inspector General, possibly before Friday. You can't do this, my stepfather growled. I met his eyes, steady, unyielding. I already did. I paused, turning to Maya, a smirk creeping up at the edge of my lips. And Maya, if you're looking for a quieter place to do your research, I hear the attic gets great sunlight this time of year. Without another word, I walked out, my footsteps echoing, crisp, deliberate. Behind me, muffled sobs, whispers of disbelief, the sound of egos collapsing. As I reached the door, my phone buzzed. Protocol Phoenix, historic traction, Neurofathom stock up 320% since market open. I smiled to myself. That freezing attic they shoved me into? It's where I wrote the first line of code for Neurofathom. Where I began building the system that now holds their empire in its neural net. Over the next month, the house of cards collapsed. Investigators uncovered ghost grants and clinical falsifications across Carroll Medical Group. Maya's position quietly eliminated during Helix Care's ethics restructuring. My mother's social life, annihilated with the champagne budget. And me, I kept building. Not for them. Never again for them. But for impact, for those like me. These days, when someone asks how it started, I tell them. Sometimes the best thing they can do is push you out. And sometimes, the most poetic revenge is a declined platinum card at their favorite table in birch stone. If you've stayed with me this far, thank you. For listening, for seeing what they never could. I wasn't the perfect daughter. Not the golden one. But I built something from nothing. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever been overlooked, silenced, replaced in your own story? Drop a comment, share your story. Because this journey, this rise, it's not just mine. It's ours. And if you believe in quiet power, in proving them wrong without a single raised voice, tap that subscribe button. Because sometimes the best thing they can do is doubt you. And the best thing you can do is rise anyway.